Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be showing you how to teach your horse to engage the hip at a trot. Okay, so I've done other videos showing you all how to teach the horse to step over and engage his hip at a walk, but we're going to be advancing it a little bit more today and doing it at the trot, and this will build into lope, and it'll help you with your lead departures and your lead changes, so on and so forth. Really important exercise to be able to do, so let's get into it. All right, so to recap a little bit, I'm going to show you how we do it at a walk and just show you that this horse can do it at a walk. Often what people want to do when I tell them to engage their horse's hip is that they want to take the horse's nose over here and then push the hip over here, and they kind of get to the inside of the horse and they push the hip away. All right, that is a disengage. That is not an engage. From the very beginning, when I start teaching my horse to move their hip over, I really don't do a lot of disengaging unless it's on a colt in the first couple rides or something, okay? So as soon as the horse begins to have a little bit of a handle on him, when I ask for the hip to move over, I'm going to stand still. I'm going to lay my leg back there and ask the horse's hip to step over while he's in a straight line, because as we advance and we want to do lead changes and do a little bit more technical maneuvers, we want the horse as straight as possible and driving all the way through himself, not having to turn inside out to make something happen, okay? If you're always pulling the nose around, the horse is going to think that he has to turn inside out. And you lay a leg back here and the nose is going to come over here, which is the opposite of what we want to happen when we start getting really great departures and asking for collection, so on and so forth. All right, got this horse moving around nice and soft at a trot. And the best thing to do is to work on this along the rail, okay? I'm working it kind of in the center of the arena because that's my preference, but if you are on the rail, what allows you to do is to really feel and see when that horse steps the hip over, okay? A lot of times when the horse makes a small move as he's learning, most people can't feel the minor adjustments that the horse is making. And if you ignore those, if you don't reward him for those, then it's going to be very hard for him to build his trot and his understanding of the exercise, again, if you're never rewarding that. So my advice would be to work along the rail. Okay, I'm going to lay my leg. Very nice. The horse stepped over. He kind of brought his head up a little bit, so we're going to finish by once again softening the rib cage, softening the chin, and asking him to come back to me. Very good. And I'll leave him alone. Lay my leg. He stepped over really nicely, but then he put his nose to the outside. So this is going to be pretty repetitive, all right? Anytime you see this horse lose impulsion, then I'm just going to kick him back up and say, hey, I need you to drive a little bit more there, okay? You do not want the horse to lose impulsion in this exercise, because, there we go, he thought I asked him to stop there, because the whole goal of this as we advance and we start working on lead departures or lead changes is that this horse is driving through with the hip, okay? So if your horse starts sucking back and leaning on you and losing his drive, then it's going to defeat the purpose of this. All right, lay my leg, very beautiful, there we go. Nose came out afterward, but that's okay, I'll fix it. Lay my leg. And if at any point this horse quits listening, I'm just going to tip the nose into the fence, reinforce what I had taught him before, push him over, and leave him alone, okay? I felt like he was getting just a little bit dull there. It was taking a lot for me to actually get him off my leg, so we're going to go back to the basics. It's really windy out here. I hope that this doesn't mess with the audio. All right. Once again, push the hip. Notice how his nose came out first thing there. I'm going to gently bump him right there, both in the rib cage and kind of bump on his face just a little bit. I'm not a big fan of bumping on their face, but I'm going to do it really softly here and just say, hey, I really need you to bring that nose back because it keeps happening here. All right, I may lay my leg. Nothing is happening, so once again, tip the nose into the fence, push him over, but I don't let him turn inside out there. I make sure he stays straight, okay? Let's go again. And if you're off the fence, if you're not on the fence there, you lay that leg, nothing happens. Okay, that was great. Then you can do the same thing here. Just keep the horse straight, push the hip over, hang out, and then move on. There we go. All right, once again, I'll bring it back up to a trot here. All right, ask the hip to step over. Beautiful, that was flawless. I don't know if you guys could see it from there. That should have been a great camera angle, but the horse really stepped over super nicely. And that's what we wanted to achieve by going back to our basics. So again, ask him to step over. He's stepping over, but notice how his whole shoulder's falling in. So I'm going to bump with my inside leg here, say, hey, I need you to stand the shoulder up, but keep driving with your hip. So it got a little ugly there for a minute, but he did bring that shoulder back to the outside, get stood up, and keep driving with the hip. So there, he's falling in on the shoulder. I'm gonna keep asking with the hip till I feel the hip actually step over there, without the shoulder falling in. Once again, there. Small step, but it was clean, nothing's happening there. So we're gonna break him down. We're gonna push that hip over till I get the answer that I need. Exaggerate to teach. And we'll move on again. There we go. All right, stepping back up. Very nice. Lay my leg, has the hip to step over, shoulders falling in a little bit. There we go. It kind of finished ugly, so I'm gonna try it again. Good job. All right, now if I can get one or two good ones on this side, we're gonna move to the right. That's gonna step over. There it was, that was beautiful. Good job. Good job. Very nice. There. Step over, beautiful. Okay. All right, so not very big or exaggerated move, but a very nice move nonetheless. All the mechanics were in place. He did exactly what I asked him to, when I asked him to. He tried really hard, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, now this way I'm gonna ask the hip to step over. Very, very nice. Hip really drove to the inside very nicely, and he maintained impulsion and didn't push on my hands. So I'll leave him alone. Once again, lay my leg, ask him to step in. There we go. Once again, lay my leg, beautiful. This is a side I was struggling on yesterday, so it's really nice to see that he's adapting and learning and retaining this information. Good job. Lay my leg, ask him to step over. Nothing's really happening, so again, I'm gonna go back to the basics here because it's taking a little too long. There we go. I don't want him just sitting on my leg and hanging there and thinking that's okay. Good boy. You do want to give your horse a chance to respond. So I always lay the leg for a few seconds, roll into the spur, give the horse a chance to respond. And then once they don't, that's when I enforce, break them down, push the hip over, okay? But I don't want them just hanging on my leg there for a long time. There, soften that nose, soften the nose, soften the nose. Good, he's trying. There it is, there, good job. I want to be able to do this at a standstill as well. So notice how I'm taking this inside leg and kind of softening the rib cage, asking his nose to come over this direction, but I'm also holding the hip there so he doesn't try to swing the hip away. Sorry, I'm getting a little close to the camera here. Let me step off. Go back to the right. There we go. So this is why it's so handy. I've showed you guys this exercise before where I soften the rib cage with my inside leg and get the horse to bring his nose in the direction of travel. And it works so well for so many exercises, and this is definitely one of them. All right, ask the hip to step over. It's happening, but pretty slowly, so I'm going to really put some heat on him over there. Good job. Lay my leg, nothing's happening. There it was, beautiful. So you guys can see it at a walk. Let's try to get a couple more at a trot, and we're gonna call it good. Lay my leg. Very nice, that was excellent. I'm so proud of you, Smooch. Lay my leg. Good job. You got a little stiff in the nose there, not a big deal. What I really like is how every time I lay my leg, he really stands the shoulder up instead of trying to dive in. Good job. Lay my leg. There we go. Very good. Do it again. That time it was a really exaggerated move in the hip, but he also straightened out and the shoulder kind of got a little stiff on my hands. There we go. Once again. There it is. That was flawless. Okay, I'm going to bring him back down to a walk here. Or stop. Good boy. All right, guys, so that is the next step in achieving the hip control and the engage when you're working on your departures and your lead changes and stuff. Very important step to master before you move on to the lope and before you really start trying to get this horse collected and driving at the lope. So do it at the walk and the jog. Hope this video has been helpful, and we'll see you in the next one.